Alright. Ruby, this one's for you. As well as other people. Just a fair heads up. I really don't know if there's any substance to this, if there's anything to it, but they say sometimes dreams can be indicators of certain future events. You know, I believe in God and all that. And that there's that old saying, he works in mysterious ways. So you know what? All I know is that I had this dream, and it's just too odd not to go unnoticed. And I tell you, I recognize the stuff we used against them. And the dream, so clear, so vivid. Basically, it's like it happened like this. In the dream, I was a soldier at the Cheyenne Mountain base in Colorado. Basically, the Chinese had invaded the U.S. full force, full swing, and they weren't too pleased. They were armed to the teeth. They had modernized. And I recognize it quite clear. I was a part of a unit that was assigned to defend the tunnel to cover the evacuation of the base. So the people inside could escape. They came at us in great numbers, supported by tanks, and I recognize it. Recognize the particular tanks they had. It was the Chinese equivalent of the T-72. You know, what they call the Type 99, I guess. I may be wrong, but it was basically the Chinese equivalent of the T-72. Now we held them back with anti-tank missile launchers, and as well as heavy machine guns. You know, M2 Brownings. Those 50 cals. When the fighting shifted inside the base itself, you know, it got really dodgy. And in the dream, I ran out of ammunition. And to fend off their advance, I cut them down with the sword I had. You know, a katana. You know, what the Japanese call the samurai sword. And I see it clear as day. They're just advancing. And I'm standing my ground, cutting them down. the funny thing is, I happen to own a katana. One that's in very good shape, might I add. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. But from what I've seen, there's definitely something big going on. I mean, the signs are all around us. I mean, every religion, not even Christianity included, talks about this time of great evil, a time of great reckoning, where the people have become so disconnected from the earth and nature and themselves and their fellow man, and even, their creator. And that it's going to be a time of chaos and disorder. Things are only going to get worse before they get better. And that you're going to have to stand firm. They talk about how there's going to be signs in the heavens, space, certain alignments of the stars, the moons, the planets, that the sun's gonna be ejecting a lot of energy. The seas will turn black, and a lot of the animals are gonna die, and that a lot of people are gonna starve and die in wars and be lost to pestilences, plagues, diseases that ain't been seen before. And just animals dropping dead for unexplained reasons. It's gonna be a time of upheaval, that evil's gonna basically mount this one final attempt to conquer the world. This one final attempt at world domination. This one final assault on freedom and justice, and the attempt to set up a tyrannical rule that encompasses the globe. It's funny how things play out. It just is. I recognize the stuff from the dream. I mean, it's not something you just make up. I mean, and before you even scoff, I want you to think about this. Just think about how disconnected we are from everything around us. How at one point, we used to have so much respect for the wonders of the world. We used to marvel at philosophers, scientists, humanitarians, artists, musicians, public speakers, all the collective works that made society great. But these days, there's this attempt to just cover it up, to erase it, and set up in its place just this robotic slave. It's the only way I can describe it. I mean, we revere horrors more than we do our own teachers. We clap at the sight of people and inflict damage to their bodies and treat it as if it were nothing more than a piece of garbage to be thrown away. We scoff at the knowledge and wisdom that lies before us. The ancestors of our past have told us time and again that there would be a time of reckoning in which all of our sins would be made known, and all the misdeeds we did would be accounted for, and we would pay for them. Well, I can't help but think it's getting closer to that time. I'm not even talking about 2012. It's just a date on a calendar. Besides, if you remember correctly, the end of the world is always this long, drawn-out process. It doesn't end quickly. There's always these turmoil, birth pains. They talked about this time where people would just be losing their minds because they couldn't deal with what was happening to the world and society. Well, we seem to be seeing that each day a little more. Another disaster here, another war there, some new disease, animals dying off, some lunatic walking into some public place and just shooting people, somebody just murdering their family. Money being worthless. Can't help but think we've reached that point, and that we've got to live through this. We've got to soldier on, come what may. We've got to see this through, come hell or high water. I don't know what else to tell you. I've seen the information, I've seen the signs. And it's all out there laid before you. You can choose to ignore it, or accept it. And with that, you have to live with the consequences and choices you make. That's all I can say.